Hi, this is Pastor Barry, welcoming you back for the fall 2014 section of our study in the story. This past spring, we went through chapters 1 through 21, which allowed us to cover the entire Old Testament story. And now, in September, we're going to be moving toward looking at the life of Jesus, his coming, his life, his teaching, his death and resurrection. And then we're going to be looking at the early church and some of the key people from the early church. And of course, in the goal in all of this is not just to know the facts of a story, but also to begin to see the greater purposes of God in the midst of them and to find our place in the bigger story. How does our story fit within that larger story of God's redemption of the world? You're going to need a copy of the story, and Lighthouse is providing them for everyone who comes to Lighthouse and wants to be a part of the study. We have the books. I have actually the teen edition because I'm young at heart, but it's basically the same as the adult version, which is a hardback. It looks a little bit nicer. The teen edition has the cool flip book feature, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, come and ask me and I'll show you. We have some other things for you as well. There is a New Testament study guide. I actually think while some groups are using these for their group discussions, really, I think this is mostly for you, a chance to read your chapter, jot down answers to a few questions, just to kind of help you think a little bit about what this part of the biblical story means for you, as well as to have something that you can take with you into the discipleship group discussion. The last thing that I want to point out is this detailed verse map, which you can download on the discipleship group's website down in the resources section. If you've been wondering where all of these scriptures come from in the story, there actually is in the book, the story. I think it's in the back. There is a listing of roughly which books and chapters are listed in each chapter of the story. The entire text of the story, other than those connecting sections, is from the Bible. And so if you want to know where it is in the Bible, you can find it. But if you want to know specifically, like which exact Bible passages, chapter and verse, you can find it using the story verse map, again, available for download on the discipleship group's website. One last thing that I want to point out to you for those of you who are in discipleship groups, and I strongly encourage everyone to be a part of a group. If you think about how this is put together from a learning perspective, we want you to have something that you're doing on your own. You're reading the story, you're answering questions in the small booklet. They're fairly short. The answering those questions shouldn't take more than about, 10 minutes maybe. And then we want you to have a chance to interact with other people over what it is that you're reading. And whether you're a believer or you're just checking out Jesus, this is a chance to make sure that what you think is going on in the story, what you think is going on in the text, is actually happening. Sometimes we get an idea about what we think is going on, and it's the wrong idea. Sometimes we don't have background and we need information, and other people in the group will know that information. Sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with the study. It has to do with friendship and being connected to people, being sharpened by them and sharpening them, and being there for each other when there are difficult times, or being there for each other when it's time to celebrate. So my strong encouragement is for you to be a part of a discipleship group. I prefer groups that meet every week, but you can, as often as your group meets, go and be a part of that group, and then, of course, come on Sundays, come to worship, hear a part of the story taught from the front. Pastor Wayne has a lot of a lot of knowledge as well as practical help for how we live these things out in our lives. So, uh, yeah, I want to encourage you to work on these things on all three levels, the personal level, the group level, and then the Sunday morning larger group level. I just feel like you give God three different shots at you, and the Holy Spirit is going to change your life. Uh, One other thing that I want to point out, I actually don't have a hard copy on me. If you go to the Discipleship Group's website and look in the resource section, you will see some files that are called the inductive study for a particular chapter. One of the things that I've tried to do in this section of the story, this New Testament section, is to try to give your group an inductive study option. An option where you just look at a section of the Bible that covers, that's covered in that chapter of the story. Generally, we have one exception, but I'll let you figure out which one that is. If anybody can figure it out, I will get you a candy bar. So there you go. But yeah, I think some groups it's too free form to try to just talk about whatever's in the chapter of the story. The chapters are generally made up of scriptures that are being edited together from multiple places in the Bible, and some of us just want the pure Bible. And if that's you, and if your group just wants to dig deeply into one section of the story, I strongly encourage you to read the chapter of the story so that you have the context of what's happening in the narrative, but then to have your group study these inductive study passages. In future videos, I'll talk more about how you can do that and what your study looks like if you do that. So anyway, that's enough of an intro to the story. If you look in the worship program for Sunday, you can see some of the dates. Basically, on September the 1st, Pastor Wayne will start with an introduction to the story. So you don't have to be reading already. During that week of September the 1st or 2nd there, you can review what's gone before. And then on September the 7th, I'm sorry, let me back that up. During the week of September the 1st, there is no reading assignment for the story. You can simply do some review. If you haven't been with us, you can watch the review video for the Old Testament, just get a sense of what has happened in the Old Testament. And then on September 7th, Pastor Wayne will come and he will do the introduction message to the New Testament section of the story. And then that week, starting on September the 8th, you'll be in chapter 22 of the story about the coming of Jesus. Your discipleship group will study or discuss chapter 22, and then Pastor Wayne will teach chapter 22 on the 14th, and then we're rolling. So they're actually, if you use this booklet, one of the improvements that we made over the last one is there is actually a schedule, a reading schedule, to help keep you on track so you don't have to keep going back to the website. So anyhow, that's all I have for you today. My hope is that you will get a ton out of this study of the story. I understand that this is not everyone's preferred method of study, this kind of bird's eye view of the big picture of the story. I do think it makes a great introduction, though, of key Bible people and stories and teachings. And we're trying to combine it this fall, with those inductive study passages. For those of you who are more familiar with the bigger picture story and are looking to go a little bit deeper, talk to your group about the possibility of doing the inductive study passages. Anyway, that's everything I've got for you. God bless you as you begin your dive into the story. And if you are a discipleship group leader, We have Invest, our discipleship group leader training, coming up Tuesday, September the 2nd, here at the Lighthouse Center at 7 o'clock, and then also on Sunday morning, September the 7th, at 9 o'clock. So during first service, if you can do that, please stay for second service. But yeah, don't go into the year without some preparation. We'll have some training for you. Those of you who are not yet group leaders, but are just kind of interested in figuring out what your group leaders hear and what it might be like for you to be a group leader, we would love to have you, and we provide food. So I hope that's enough of an enticement. I look forward to seeing you this fall. And as always, feel free to contact me in email or on a Sunday morning or whatever with your questions. Be glad to try to help you sort through the things that are coming up for you in the story.